For over 20 years, I had hoped that one day I would have the opportunity to photograph inside the chapel where once I had watched Mother Teresa praying her rosary. At that time, I was not a Catholic, but even then I clutched a plastic blue rosary given to me by one of the sisters. Now I had been given permission to take photographs inside the chapel and then some views from outside in the corridor. Sister Blasila stood outside in the hallway and watched me as I lifted my new Fujifilm camera and for the first time viewed the chapel through the lens of a camera. I snapped a few photographs of the sisters as they began their prayers. Obedient to my orders, I quietly walked out into the hallway. Sister Blasila asked me if I had enough photographs. "No," I responded. "Take a few more," she smiled. This camera with its mirrorless shutter was extremely quiet as I clicked, and after about 20 more frames, I once again joined the sister out in the hallway. I was directed to a door with a view of the sisters from the back of the room, but I could not get any good frames from there. So Sister Blasila invited me to the doorway where the sisters enter the chapel. From this spot, I could see the entire chapel, and the view was spectacular. "You can see Mary and Jesus at the same time," my guide told me. She viewed my LCD screen with me as I framed the image. I thought this image must be what Mother Teresa had seen from her vantage point on her prayer mat at the back of the room. Framed in the lens of my camera, I understood the vision of the Missionaries of Charity, Jesus dying on the cross, saying, "I thirst," is central to their charism, and Mary, his mother, is their conduit to fulfill that mission. The next morning, after 6 a.m. Mass, Sister Christine told me another sister would be accompanying me to the orphanage Shishubavan. After joining the volunteers for lukewarm tea and milk, bananas and bread, the sister appeared in the main entrance. I was growing accustomed to the sisters finding me wherever I happened to be at the Mother House. Sister Ida is a tall, kindly, middle-aged woman from Indiana. I immediately felt a kinship with her. Shishubavan was pivotal to Mother Teresa's mission, providing shelter and refuge to the abandoned children of Calcutta and in cities around the world. Inside the home, dozens of cribs were lined up in neat rows. The color schemes here were also bright and cheery. Sister Ida guided me to a room where a group of young children were dressed in school uniforms. They came from families who could not support them, and the arrangement was a type of boarding school with a goal of sending the children home once the parents could afford to support them. Then Sister Angela Maria, Superior of Shishubavan, appeared in the doorway, smiling at the lively chatter and me bouncing around the room taking photographs. Upon seeing her, the children hugged her legs, begged to be lifted into her kindly arms. Sister was suddenly insistent that I come to another area upstairs. It was difficult to pull myself away from these children, but I followed my guide to the next floor. Suddenly, I felt pulled into Mother Teresa's orbit, the one in which nothing mattered at the moment except what was directly in front of me. I stared, speechless, my mouth opened, at lines of cribs of newborn babies. "I have never seen anything so beautiful in my life," I told Sister Ida. "I told you, I wanted you to see this. I brought a photographer here once, and he could not stop crying," she replied. It was heaven on earth, newborns saved from the streets, rocking in the gentle safety net of women whose mission is always to be mothers to the poor and destitute whom they serve, including especially those babies who came into the world without a home.